Good morning, everyone. We would like to welcome our graduates, families and friends here on what is a very special day for you, your Macquarie University graduation ceremony. Firstly, I would like to ask you all to please ensure that your mobile phone has been switched off. There are a couple of items I need to run through before the ceremony starts. Firstly, you are all welcome to take photographs during the ceremony. However, we do ask that you remain in your seats so that you do not impede the view of the other guests. Under no circumstances should anyone stand in the centre aisle or approach the stage. Please note that this ceremony will be streamed live on the Macquarie YouTube channel. Should we have a situation that requires us to evacuate the building, please follow the instructions of our security staff. There are 4 exits from the graduation hall, 1 in each corner of the building, 2 in the back corners and 2 in the front. You will also find our safety information on the back page of your program. Plaques, frames and photography services are available in the atrium building next to the refreshments marquee. If you have pre-ordered a frame or plaque, please make sure you collect it there today. In a moment, the Chancellor of Macquarie University, the Honourable Michael Egan AO, accompanied by the academic procession, will enter the graduation hall. When the procession has arrived on the stage, Advance Australia Fair will be performed and you are invited to join in the singing of our national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the academic procession.
rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Please be seated. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Mr. Chris Tobin, representative of the Darug people, to offer the traditional welcome to country. Mr. Tobin.
Thank you. Budri Molinawul, good morning. Nalawa, welcome. I belong to one of the local Aboriginal families of the Darug people, the traditional custodians over this part of the country. I wish to thank the university for their acknowledgement of us and for the invitation to welcome you here this morning. That acknowledgement is important to our people and much appreciated, particularly by our elders. Education is important in our culture too. Knowledge meant survival, and our elders are traditionally accorded much respect for their accumulated wisdom and experience. My family, in fact, descend from Yarramundi, a respected elder and cleverman of the Burrabrongal clan during the early years of colonisation. He saw that our survival in this new world could best be secured if we could learn more about it. As such, he enrolled his daughter, Maria, into the Native Institution, a school set up in 1815 by Governor Macquarie himself, offering formal education to Aboriginal children. She studied there for several years and used her newly acquired skills to lobby and ultimately secure some land for herself and her family out along the Richmond Road. Other Aboriginal families soon joined them, and it became known as the Blackstown, where the city of Blacktown gets its name. We are very proud of her, as I'm sure your families are of you here today. And with good reason. Your success is our success. Your advancement is our advancement. Now, that was perhaps better understood in more traditional times when camp groups were smaller and people, or clan groups, abided by strict sharing laws. It meant the food that you caught and brought back was distributed throughout the rest of the camp. Your efforts and skills and good fortune were shared by all, and you, of course, were supported by them. Yes, we can live quite beautifully when we get it right. Our Aboriginal ancestors certainly lived well in many respects, and I use occasions like this to recommend them to yourselves as a benchmark or a model on how good to expect our lives today. You see, when Captain Cook arrived a little south of here just over 200 years ago, he described the people he encountered there as one of the happiest people he had ever met. They had nothing, he wrote, but the tools that they carried. They made shelters from the bark of trees without cutting them down, and harvested food from the earth without tilling the land. There were no armies or jails or even police. People cooperated to collect the resources that were needed, and then they were shared out according to strict Aboriginal law. Our rivers were clean and unpolluted, with people drinking out of them as they have done here for the past 20,000 years. Now remember, this is not an ideal or a dream. Right? This is normal life, or was, for our people for the longest time. And there is no reason why we should expect less for ourselves and our children than what our ancestors enjoyed. So I would say to you, expect great things from your lives. Life is meant to be good and happy. And if we follow the promptings of that beautiful spirit within us, I believe that together we can create a world and a future that is worthy of our children. We all have our part to play. I'll do mine now by getting off and letting you people graduate. Just want to say congratulations to all of you and all the best in our collective futures. Thank you. Welcome to country.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to introduce the Chancellor of Macquarie University, the Honourable Michael Egan, AO.
Thank you, Chris Tobin, for your welcome to country. Well, graduands, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and I see we have a number of tiny tots here with us today, and they're especially welcome because a university graduation is a celebration, and I've yet to see a celebration that is not enhanced by the presence of children. But a graduation ceremony usually takes about an hour and a half, and I don't know about today's tiny tots, but when I was a tiny tot, I couldn't stay still for that long. So please don't worry if they make a noise or want to run about, let them do that. Don't feel obliged to take them outside because we know from long experience that a baby or a child that makes a noise during a graduation ceremony is back within 25 years to take out their first PhD. So please let them run free. Well, it's my very great privilege as Chancellor of Macquarie University to preside at this very important ceremony. And first, I welcome our graduands, and I hope that today will be a very happy and a very memorable occasion for all of you. And it will only be a happy occasion if you relax. Some of you look as though you're about to go into the exam room rather than receive your degree. So let me just assure you that nothing can go wrong today. The very worst thing that can happen is that you can fall over when you come up here. That's happened before, but that's why all these people are here, to pick you up and send you on your way. So just sit back, enjoy the ceremony and enjoy the day, because you do deserve to take pride in your graduation. Completing a degree is never easy. You need an intelligent and inquiring mind. You need determination and perseverance, and you need to make many sacrifices. So welcome and congratulations to each and every one of you. Today I also want to welcome those of you who are sitting on that side of the hall or behind our graduands as their invited guests, because if you think about it, you've all done very well yourselves. The fact that you're here, the fact that you've been invited by one of our graduands to share one of the great days of their lives is proof positive that you've been very important in their lives and in the successes that we celebrate today. So mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, cousins, sons and daughters, grandmothers and grandfathers, friends, husbands and wives, partners, boyfriends, girlfriends, lovers, or whatever you are, congratulations, and thank you for celebrating this great occasion with us. And I don't want you to think either that observing today's graduation is the end of your role, because I have another important service for you to perform for our newest graduates, as they will soon become. I want you to make sure that the degrees they receive today are never ever put in a bottom drawer, but are always proudly displayed in a position of prominence. If our graduands are too self-effacing to proclaim their success, you make sure you do it for them. Now, the ceremony that we're about to participate in is one of the world's oldest social rituals. For centuries, graduates have been donning robes just like the ones our graduands are wearing today, and participating in ceremonies just like this one. Indeed, there are some 50 universities in the world which can trace their history back more than 500 years. Now, Macquarie, of course, is relatively young. Yes, last year we celebrated our 50th Jubilee year. We proudly take our name from Australia's greatest colonial governor, Governor Lachlan Macquarie, a man whose greatness and achievements were never acknowledged by his contemporaries, but only by history. Those of us who went to school in New South Wales were taught that Macquarie was a great builder, but his greatest legacy had nothing to do with bricks and mortar. His greatest legacy was the ethos he established, much to the chagrin of the British authorities, of an egalitarian society, because it was Macquarie's insistence that in this fledgling convict colony that there be no distinction between the free and the freed that was the foundation of the Australian notion of a fair go for all. And that is a legacy that here at Macquarie we will always aim to maintain and honour. After our first 50 years, we now have more than 150,000 Macquarie graduates living in more than 140 countries. Macquarie is a very modern and outward-looking university. We're regarded as one of Australia's leading research universities and are currently extending our research as we are our course offerings and our facilities. On the way here this morning, you might have seen our Macquarie University Hospital, which is only a few years old. We are the only university in Australia with our own private hospital. And of course, as well as being used for its primary purpose of treating sick people, it's also used by the postgraduate medical students and academics in our School of Advanced Medicine. We're also proud of our still new library, the only university library in Australia, still the only one in Australia with an automated book retrieval system. And only last year, we opened our Advanced Hearing Hub, a world-leading institute in hearing and language sciences. So we're looking forward and we're on the move. Here at Macquarie, we have a clear and very straightforward mission, and that mission is to transform people's lives and to improve the lives not just of our own students, but also of people all around the globe, by the work and achievements of our graduates and by the fruit of our research. We want Macquarie always to be a leader in teaching and learning and a leader in the accumulation of knowledge and understanding. In other words, an ideal community of scholars. And graduands, in just a few minutes, it will be my very great honour to confer your degrees upon you and welcome you as lifelong members of that community of scholars we proudly call Macquarie University. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's now my pleasure to introduce our occasional speaker, Dr. Joe Fernandez. Joe's Head of Global Investment Solutions Group for Colonial First State Global Asset Management and a member of the Global Asset Management Executive Leadership Team. He joined Colonial First State Group in May 2001, and his industry experience spans 18 years in business leadership, portfolio management and investment advisory roles. He is an Executive Director for the Colonial First State Global Asset Management's Australian, New Zealand and Indonesian operations. I'd now like to invite Mr. Joe Fernandez to deliver the occasional address. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Fernandez.
Chancellor, faculty, staff, distinguished guests, graduates, families and friends. I'm Joe Fernandez. I have a confession to make. I did trip and fall at my own graduation about 20 years ago. I'm also happy to say that it didn't really sort of impact me too much, although it was embarrassing at the time. I'm very pleased to be here, and I'm very thankful for the invitation to be here speaking on your special day. It's special because to me it's not only a celebration of achievement, but also a celebration of something which to my mind is even more fundamental, and that is a celebration of education, something very important and something that I hold dear to me. So thank you for the opportunity to address you. By way of context to my remarks today, and somewhat absent from the biography that you just heard, I have an honours degree and a PhD in mathematical physics. And specifically, my field of study was general relativity. And to my mind, that remains one of the great achievements of human endeavour in relation to our understanding of the universe around us. Now, as many of you know, general relativity is the study of gravitation and the large-scale structure of the universe. Also, as many of you know, relativity started as a theoretical construct over 100 years ago. Today, it finds practical application all around us, and in fact in many unlikely places. Some of you used your GPS to find your location here today, perhaps. Our ability to use GPS satellites, as many of you know, to locate ourselves on the planet relies on relativity, concepts of relativity, as does our ability to make sense of observations of the distant universe. All of which is to help us understand some fundamental points and some fundamental questions about our identity and also our place in the world. Gravity is at play. Now, I am all about the value of fundamental research, but I have to say, and many of you will recognise, that great advances have been made when science and engineering innovation come together. So you can probably guess where this speech is heading. After the conclusion of my studies, I made what I felt was a fairly courageous decision. So I did spend some time in research and in academia, but then I made a change, and I decided quite actively to change my field. I moved away from what had been my life's calling to that point to something which is, I guess, described as the very real world of investment management. The abridged version of this story is that today, regrettably, I'm not working in general relativity. I'm not working to try and understand gravitational waves generated by dynamic phenomena out in the universe and what they might tell us about the universe. But I have, however, built on my studies, and today I sit, as you heard, on the executive team of one of the largest Australian-owned global investment management firms. More specifically, however, I'm responsible for our product development division within that firm. And my job there is to ensure that everything we do has the highest quality and the highest relevance for the people who use our services. And also to ensure that everything we do with maximum responsibility, so we're mindful of our obligations. So why is this important, and why am I drawing some parallels? Innovation is a key driver of what I do in my day job today. And moreover, for me, it's about harnessing, commercialising and exporting that innovation, which starts in this country but exporting it around the world. In doing that, I'm proud to be part of an enterprise that contributes to prosperity in this country by exporting many of our capabilities offshore. As investment managers, I'm very conscious that we have significant obligations to our investors and also to the broader community. And for me, a part of that is to ensure that we're allocating capital, scarce capital, whether that be financial or intellectual, to long-term productive purposes. That's a key driver of mine. It always has been, and I hope for the graduands today that it becomes a driver of yours into the future. So today's ceremony causes me to reflect on my own many years ago, and it was about 20 years ago now, a culmination of effort, not just at the university, not just here, but in all of the learning that has brought you here. And let's not forget that we in this country benefit from a world-class education system. So we're very privileged. So it's not just about this culmination, but also as you know, the marking of a new beginning for many of you. It was for me. There will be employment, further study, perhaps a well-deserved break. And as I reflect on my life and my career in the years since graduating, particularly as someone who's changed disciplines at the conclusion of my PhD, as I reflect, there's really three things that, or three lessons, I should say, that I feel I've learnt over that time, and you might say, which I'd like to share with you today, and you might say that if I've only sort of learned 3 things, then maybe I haven't sort of tried hard enough, or maybe I haven't looked hard enough. I don't know. But these are the 3 core interrelated things, the things that my own education helped to equip me for, and the things that have helped me to be successful in my life outside of academia. So bear with me. The first of these, for me, is not to confuse activity with purpose. We implicitly know the difference between these, but they're often confused in practice. The challenge is that without a very clearly defined purpose, without knowledge of the purpose, activity tends to take over. We see it in many walks of life. So activity, without a purpose, activity becomes its own purpose, and actually that is a real danger. If I sort of put this another way in words that resonated with me when I was in your shoes, it's not what you do that's important, it's why you do it. It's the why and not the what. And knowing the difference is actually the key, in my mind, to success in any enterprise that you choose to find yourself in after graduation. Now, your purpose can change, it can develop over time, it may be elusive, as it has been and continues to be in parts for me, but I say find your purpose and understand it deeply, and ensure that everything you do, all of that activity, is aligned to that as you progress your lives and careers. The second lesson for me, and we've heard a little about this in the 2 preceding speeches, is about reinvestment and the power of impact. The wealth that we see around us, that we benefit from, it's not here by accident. It didn't accumulate passively. It's the result of good fortune, to be sure, and we have a lot to be thankful for in terms of good fortune in this country. But it's also the result of the efforts of all who've gone before us, and importantly, the efforts of those who've gone before us and invested in our community. This is evident in our quality of life, it's evident in our quality of education. And we are beneficiaries of that. I am, you are, we all are beneficiaries of that investment from prior generations and an intergenerational transfer. And of course, as many of you know, our wealth in this country and our education system in this country is unimaginable to many people around the world. So I say, as beneficiaries, we have significant obligations to ourselves as well as to others. So for me, it has been about finding a way to reinvest with impact and to leave a legacy for future generations. Last, and I truly mean this, you can't have enough scientists and engineers. And some of you will say, well, of course he'd say that. He's at the graduation ceremony for some scientists and engineers. But bear with me. Some of you will find your way into other careers, as I have done. But I do believe that the challenges and the opportunities of this generation and the next will overwhelmingly be scientific in nature. And so I do believe that the world needs scientists and engineers. Investment in science and more generally, investment in our combined store of wealth as a community and as a country is critical to our future, critical to our prosperity and the prosperity of future generations. But there's a philosophical point that I'd like to also make here, something that I've reflected on a lot over the years. And that is that I don't believe that we can know our place in the world without striving to understand the world itself. So you, graduands, have taken the first great step, a formal training in science and engineering, graduating today from a great university, and I really do commend you for that. Some of you will continue in the field of your studies, and I salute you because we need you. Others will, like me, make a change and that's good too. Whichever way you go and whichever field of your future endeavours, I encourage you to remain true to the intellectual curiosity that has led you to be trained scientists and engineers. So be curious about the world around you and remember the value to be placed on scientific endeavour, even if some of you may find employment elsewhere. So this should be, I think, the greatest learning from your time as students, certainly was for mine. And it's a foundation upon which innovation is able to flourish and become wealth creating. So in conclusion, for me, it's about purpose, it's about reinvestment, and it's about innovation. I hope some of these reflections have been useful to you today. I wish you all the greatest of success in your chosen fields. Congratulations, and thank you very much for listening.
Well, thank you, Joe, for a marvellous occasional address and a fascinating account of a fascinating career. And I'm sure our graduands will keep in mind those 3 lessons that you've learned during your career. And if they do, I'm sure they'll be held in good stead. Please join me once again in thanking Joe for his occasional address. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we now come to the key part of the ceremony, the reason we're here, and that's the conferring of degrees. I confess, however, it is the one part of the ceremony that makes me just a little bit nervous, because I'm told that if I confer a degree on someone who's not eligible to receive it, there's nothing I can do to take it back. So I need an absolute ironclad assurance from the Acting Registrar, Mr. Craig Oliver, that all of you were never late in submitting an assignment, never missed a class, and are otherwise all eligible to graduate today. Craig, can you give me that assurance, please?
Chancellor, I certify that all the candidates being present here today and those who are absent have satisfied the requirements of the Academic Senate for the degrees and the diplomas they are to be awarded. Would all candidates for admission to degrees or diplomas please stand?
Graduands, in the name of the Macquarie University Council and by my authority as Chancellor, I admit each of you present and those who are absent to the degrees and diplomas for which you have qualified. Graduates, congratulations.
Please be seated. Chancellor, the graduates at the ceremony are from the Faculty of Science and Engineering. This faculty teaches courses and conducts research about people and our physical environment. It is home to a number of internationally recognised research centres. It has close links with industries and is building firm future partnerships, especially with companies located by Macquarie Park. The faculty includes research and study areas in biological sciences, chemistry and biomolecular sciences, chiropractic, computing, earth and planetary sciences, environment and geography, mathematics, physics and astronomy, engineering and statistics. Chancellor, I now call on Professor Barbara Marcel, Executive Dean of the Faculty of Science and Engineering, to present the graduates. Professor Marcel.
Chancellor, I present to you the graduates from the Faculty of Science and Engineering whom you have admitted to the degrees. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Engineering and with honours with the Bachelor of Science, Emerson Cabrera. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Engineering with First Class Honours, Nicholas Burns. Stephen Peter Mahaffey. Wesley Neil Myring. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Engineering with Honours, Harika Achanta. Abdulaziz Atiye. Christopher Patrick Farrell. Kelvin Jones. Himashan Kulasingam. David Lamb. Joshua Andrew Miller. Martin Santos. Mark Robert Shoebridge. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts with the Bachelor of Science, Erin Elizabeth Martin. Michelle Whitford. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Engineering with the Bachelor of Science, Hufran Al-Hazali. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Science with the Diploma of Education, Christopher Sutton. I present graduates admitted to the degree of the Bachelor of Advanced Science, Rochelle Martin, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Congratulations. Dean Southwood. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Ashley Marie Harrington. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of E-Business, Nicholas James Hanson. Ben Adam Napper. Daniel Stefan Richter. Danielle Sakari. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Philip Sa Hei Chan. Robert Farrugia. Yuchi Mao. Hao Wei Zhang. Xingqi Zheng. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Information Technology, Lachlan Bransby. Ricardo Andres Caseda. Hei Chan. Jin Ren Jimmy Chen. Abi Chirakuri. Rebecca May Coote. Emily Jane Davies. Stefan Joseph de Mello. Mohammed Fahad. Anthony Martin Falk. Luke Marco Franco. Matthew Hiscock. Xiao Sin William Hua. Benjamin Robert Jesse. Christopher Jones. Eden Olivia Knight. Samuel Kong. John Kritikos. Jasper Prashant Kumar. Matthew Lee. Jack Alexander Lever. Tristan Arnold Henry Limbert. Edward Andrew Little. Alexander Edward George Loader. Pavel Malohatko. Thomas Michael McNicholas. Rubina Nasa. Peter Noland. Elton Lame Nunes. Nehemiah Owe. Andrew Papas. Yao Min Sim. Luke Sobara. Jesse Marcus Tandor. Tung Nian Tran. Luke Vergos. Anthony James Wales. Nicole Ebony Webb. Andrew Pui Lung Wong. Marcus Gok Keng Yam. Chi Shi Yang Yang. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Information Technology, Games Design and Development. Anthony Achifa. Liam Francis Batchelor. Adrian Philip Chen. Yu Sing Lung. Carter Leo. Alexander Robert Zionzi. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Science. Hayley Marie Dormer, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Stephen John Dunn. Christopher Fretwell. Yun Ho Kim. Garion Jacob Ross Knapp. Sean Anthony Powery. Benjamin Caleb Seal. Justin Eichler Tai. Leonard Villanueva. Christopher David Harris Walker. Miranda Yu. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Applied Statistics. Yun Pin Cheng. Ryan Defina. Kelsey Lynn Grantham, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Aishat Hilmi. Ayal Karen. Jian Cheng Xie. Yao Chu. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of Chiropractic, Paul Alexandru Slabacu. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of Engineering Management, John Ander Omatsa Segara. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Information Technology, Jeanne Atkinson. Bharat Muthu Kumar Balu. Aishwarya Bedekar. Colin Albert Beryl. Terence Robert Black. David Franklin Cook, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Barry Anand Francis. Mohammed Imtiaz Habib. Alice Kashishi. Imran Khan, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Nusrat Jahab Kusebo. Richard Leslie Kilpatrick. Ramji Prasad Koirala. Aizal Loman. Daniel Marsh. Ruku Tamangurung. Michael Van Treek, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. I present diplomates awarded the Graduate Diploma of Information Technology, Mark Richard Kamaligan. Jo Lin Tay. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of Research with Distinction, Rhys Patrick Roberts, for a thesis entitled Quantum Optical Tracking of Nanodiamonds Containing NV Centres. I'll read your thesis title. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Research, Tiffany Elizabeth Day, for a thesis entitled The Distribution and Kinematics of Neutral Hydrogen in the Inner Disk and Spiral Arms of the Grand Design Spiral Galaxy M83. Glenn Douglas, for a thesis entitled Feasibility Study of Femtosecond Laser Written Arrayed Waveguide Gratings for Astronomy. Blake Entwistle, for a thesis entitled Whole Cell Recording and Thermal Profiling of Infrared Nerve Stimulation. Thomas Guff, for a thesis entitled Probing Gravity with Optical Experiments. Rajika Lakmali Kurawita, for a thesis entitled Fallback Disks and the End of the Common Envelope Phase. Sasa Maric, for a thesis entitled Migration of Primary User Emulation Attacks Using Belief Propagation. Fiona Margaret Martin, for a thesis entitled Document Restructuring to Promote Semantic Coherence in Topics. Michael Min Hung Nguyen, for a thesis entitled Fabrication and Testing of a Droplet-Based Microfluidic Neural Implant. Bienvenida Pagdanganan, for a thesis entitled Framework for Evaluating the Trustworthiness of E-Health Applications. Busaya Sachi Puang Nguyen, for a thesis entitled Big Data and Its Implications for the Statistics Profession and Statistics Education. John Cedric Roxas, for a thesis entitled Exploring the Influence of a Dancing Virtual Agent in the Evocation on Human Emotion. Seng Chi Ong Ho, for a thesis entitled Neumann Boundary Value Problem for the Helmholtz Equation 2D Arbitrary Boundary. Matthew James van Breugel for a thesis entitled Exploring the Silicon Vacancy Centre in a CVD-grown nanodiamond for near-resonant optical trapping. Andrew David Wood for a thesis entitled Fibre Cavities for Microcavity Polaritons. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. Nick Setajevic for a thesis entitled Development and Implementation of the Integrated Photonic Spectrographs for Astronomy. Dr. Andrei Kitzel for a thesis entitled External Cavity Diamond Raman Lasers for High Power Continuous Wave Beam Conversion. Dr. Chiang Liao for a thesis entitled Femtosecond Laser Direct Writing of Non-Reciprocal Structures in Magneto-Optical Glasses. Dr. Jie Lu, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for a thesis entitled Developing Signal Amplification Strategies for Sensitive Detection of Low Abundance Biomolecules. Dr. Chetan Nechkode for a thesis entitled Time Series-Driven Characterization and Inference of Complex Systems. Dr. Mananjana Hari Tahiri Rabehaja, who studied under a joint PhD agreement with the University of Sheffield for a thesis entitled Algebraic Verifications of Probabilistic and Concurrent Systems. Dr. Azadeh Safari for a thesis entitled Digital Imaging Processing Based on the Residue Number System. Dr. Mohammed Abid Hossein Saka for a thesis entitled Automatic Medical Text Summarization to Support Evidence-Based Medicine. Dr. Brian Kevin Schwitter for a thesis entitled Junction Temperature Characterization of Gallium Arsenide and Gallium Nitrogen High Electron Mobility Transistors. Dr. Jiang Bao Zhao for a thesis entitled Exploring Unique Optical Properties of an Upconversion Nanocrystals Towards a New Library of Molecular Probes. Chancellor, that completes this morning's presentation of the graduates from the Faculty of Science and Engineering.
Chancellor, I call on Dr. Andrei Kitzler, who has graduated today with a Doctor of Philosophy, to give the graduate response on behalf of the graduating group. Dr. Kitzler.
Chancellor, members of the university, fellow graduates and friends, family members and guests. I have been asked to share with you my experiences here at Macquarie University on behalf of... Thank you.
You might have to hold it up a bit.
On behalf of all graduates. Is it better? My journey to become a PhD candidate here at Macquarie University began when I was finishing my master's degree in my home country of Czech Republic. One day, my supervisor asked me if I would be interested in a PhD position in my field, but in Sydney. And I asked myself, I can give it a try, not really sure about myself. However, I have applied, won, and in just a few months, I have been sitting on a plane to the country of Down Under and still wondering about my decision. After my arrival, I remember being warmly welcomed by everyone, introduced to my fellow PhDs, and then getting completely lost in a maze called Macquarie Shopping Centre. Something I noticed early on was a very friendly and relaxed atmosphere in the department. Even though the professor-postdoc PhD hierarchy is still recognizable, the relationships are much more like colleagues and friends. The culture at Macquarie encourages students and academics to mingle during informal morning teas and barbecues, gather at invited talks and seminars, and join various outreach activities. I enjoy very much being a part of such a wonderful and friendly community. Doing a PhD wasn't just barbecues and Friday beers in the U-Bar. Every one of us encounters many hardships. Setbacks due to broken equipment, weeks trying to solve that set of nonlinear partial second-order differential equations, and working on an abstract overnight in an empty office just to meet that conference deadline. By overcoming these challenges, we have learned to be patient and persistent and experienced the joy of a breakthrough when our experiment finally worked and our hypothesis proved to be at least partially right. Finishing a postgraduate degree means becoming a world expert in a very narrow and specific field. However, during our study here at Macquarie, we have learned and mastered many new skills and developed our hidden qualities. It may be the English language if you are a foreigner like me, or finding hidden trends in large data sets. For me personally, it is public speaking. I used to be absolutely terrified and my hands would tremble. But now, after encouragement of my colleagues and friends, and the numerous opportunities to practice here at Macquarie University, I have the honor and courage to stand in front of you. In a graduation speech, it is expected to give you a word of wisdom you can take home with you. So I did my research and listened to the world's best graduation speeches from people like Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and others. But then I realized I am no Steve. I haven't built a multi-billion-dollar business yet. Therefore, my humble advice is simple. Believe in yourselves and your abilities and never give up. In conclusion, being a PhD candidate here at Macquarie University was a lot of fun. We have become the leading scientists in our respective fields, but also learned the skills necessary to succeed in our next endeavors. It wouldn't be possible without the people supporting us. Therefore, on behalf of all today's graduates, please let me sincerely thank to all academic and support staff of Macquarie University for their kind advice and help. Our utmost gratitude must go to our families and loved ones. Supporting a PhD student, often sleep-deprived and cranky, is not an easy task. Without you, we wouldn't make it this far. So, cheers and congratulations to all my fellow graduates. Thank you.
Well, congratulations, Andre, not only on a fine speech, but also on your doctorate. And that's very good advice. Believe in yourself and never give up. Thank you for coming to Australia to do your PhD, and thank you for coming to Macquarie. And I hope that you have a long association with Macquarie, and I hope that perhaps you might like to come here and live permanently. You'd be very, very welcome. What a great citizen he would make. I've been to the Czech Republic. In fact, I was there the day Václav Havel was sworn in as the first non-communist president in 1989, towards almost just before New Year's Day in 1990. And Prague really is a city of great culture and great learning. So it's quite an honour for Macquarie University to have someone from that great city and that great country come to Macquarie to do their PhD. Let's congratulate Andre once again. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Yolanda Lorenzato, and I think you'll agree we've been very fortunate to have her sing at today's graduation. And we've also been very fortunate to have, as usual, our two great musicians on the organ over there, Dr. James Forsyth, and on the trumpet, Melanie McLaughlin. And I think we should thank all three of them. I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank the representatives from our alumni community who come along to all of our graduations to participate as volunteers to make sure that our graduation ceremonies go very smoothly. We have a couple over there and a number over there, and I think they deserve your thanks too. Well, graduates, this ceremony marks the end of one stage in your relationship with Macquarie University, but it is certainly not the end of your association with Macquarie. From today on, for the rest of your lives, you are part of the bigger Macquarie family, which is our alumni, and part of the network of 150,000 Macquarie alumni spanning the globe. We'll keep in touch with you through our alumni program, which is focused on lifelong learning, lifelong support, and lifelong connections. Our commitment to you is to help you keep in touch and engaged with Macquarie throughout your life. And please, graduates, do make sure that you come back to Macquarie, either to undertake more study, to attend alumni events, or perhaps use our aquatic and fitness facilities, or for whatever purpose that takes your fancy. Graduates, the award of a university degree carries many opportunities and privileges, but like all privileges, it also carries responsibilities. Believe it or not, you, each and every one of you, can change the world. And you don't have to be a Nobel Prize winner to do it either. Because almost everything you do, in your homes, in your workplaces, and in your communities matters and can make a huge difference. The consequences of every effort, every action, large or small, can reverberate throughout society, through the ages, indeed the centuries. Even something as simple as a kind word or gesture can often be the spark that ignites a great life or a great career or a great achievement. So as Chancellor of Macquarie University, I charge you to use what you have learned, not only for your own benefit, but also for the betterment of the community. I charge you to use the skills and knowledge you have acquired with rigour and integrity, and to commit yourselves to a program of lifelong learning and inquiry. I charge you to recognise the worth and dignity of all people, particularly those who have not had the opportunities that you have enjoyed. I charge you to set high goals and to continue the hard work that has brought you so far. And I charge you, wherever you go, to go with all your heart. And in all you do, I charge you to uphold the good name of Macquarie University. Graduates, I hope also that you'll always remember the people who have helped you along the way, many of whom, of course, are here with you today. So to acknowledge their contribution and thank them for it, I'm now going to ask you to do a couple of things. Graduates, would you now please stand? I'd now like you to put your degrees on the seats behind you, so that your hands are free, and I'd like you to turn around to face your families and friends. And now I ask you to give them a mighty round of applause. Graduates can turn around, don't sit down just yet. Here on the dais are some representatives of our academic staff who've also been very important in your journey at Macquarie University. I'm sure you'd like to thank them as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, shortly I will lead the official party out, and it will be my great honour to invite our newest graduates and their family and friends to join us for refreshments overlooking the lake. Well, graduates, I wish you the very best for the future, and in the words of the old Irish blessing, may the road rise up to meet you, may the wind always be at your back, may the sun shine warm upon your face, and rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Graduates, good luck.